It's okay.
All right, and we are
It's
back.
not your fault.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Too short of notice.
Nope. Your edgelord coat cannot go back on. It's too late. All right, so internet issues happening, but don't worry, fam. We're gonna try and work through it and make it happen. So, so all four of you standing before these three Nosferatu. I let you know, and I told Nika again off camera, like what her politics role and what Emmy and her know about the situation and where you're at. And they kind of sit there, and like I said, sorry, heard shouting maybe. I'm not quite sure what that was about.
You can hear shouting.
It's the ghost.
I know, right?
The ghost.
That's crazy. Even Maya is like, her ears are up, and she's like, "What's going on?" So
Get out of my graveyard.
yeah, the three of them stand before you, and they've only asked that one question so far. As far as information is concerned, they want to know who your employer is. That's what they've asked of the four of you, and they stand there expectantly.
If nobody says anything, Varys will speak, but like it's if nobody else speaks up. So he's kind of just like looking and waiting for one of them to say something.
Well,
but
I think I would speak up if Callie doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't. Okay.
I'm gonna say nothing at all.
Okay.
But
She's gonna be
she does like kind of grab at your hand, like gets the arm that you have, so she takes it instead. And she's like,
Oh,
it's
okay. Now you
nice."
have two arms.
Yeah, she's not gonna keep this one, but she kind of likes it, so she's like,
All right.
just she's
Before
like,
you do that,
I
I'm gonna-
appreciate this.
I will be right back. Just give me 1 second. I'm hearing screaming. I swear to God.
So we're gonna talk to the NPC while he's gone, and we're gonna be like, listen, here's the thing. You're gonna let us do what we want to do and empty your wallets. That was a nice cell phone. I want that. And they're totally gonna listen because Varys is super intimidating. He's got like a sword. Caligari's got that arm. Jimmy has like
A lot of arms.
fingernails.
She's
True.
two arms.
Fingernails.
Yep.
I have 4 arms. One of them
Yeah.
belonging to a kindred, which is a little bit spooky.
Does anyone
What happened?
actually have intimidate?
Okay, it's like
So when they
Okay.
give me their
Four of
wallets,
So-
when they give me their
My
wallets,
cat-
I'm just
I
like,
think I do. I have intimidated.
my cat. Before we continue, knocked down
Yeah.
all the food on the counter and has perfect
Look at her.
puncture holes through the tin, trying to get to the soft food underneath, all the way through, just like puncturing it, trying to eat it. Oh my!
and that was screaming.
Well, he was
She's
not.
getting
He was
back.
knocking everything off the counter, and I was hearing things hit the ground. I thought I was screaming, but it's just noise.
Another
Cat
reason why
noises.
dogs are better.
See, wait, you have 2 cats.
I have 3.
Okay.
2
'cause
are
I
out
was like-
there.
Because we saw a cat behind you.
Yeah,
yeah,
because
Maya's
the other
around here.
cat, I'm like, you have a telekinetic cat.
No, that'd be even better.
It's just meow.
Mathas is the white person in horror movies. I just go towards the noise. Just like, what's happening? All right. So, well,
So okay.
go ahead. Sorry, I
As
apologize.
soon as they say that, Emmy's gonna be like, "Well, that'd be kind of silly if you told people who you were working for.
That's why
What
it's
kind of
valuable.
information do you want to trade?
Valuable information, little girl.
What kind of information do you find valuable? Everyone has their own.
Lots and lots of different information. How about we ask simple question? Little girl vampires are not something that are typically allowed. Who is your sire?
Is it weird to tell people who your sire is?
You think? Listen, you are
Like,
getting way too personal.
Politically, is it weird to tell people who
It's
your
not
sire
against
is?
the rules
Yeah,
in any way.
I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them because that's like super threatening to the sire. You know, it's. I just say, listen, you're getting way too personal. Why are we doing like a?
You've taken a step in our home.
This isn't your home, buddy. This isn't your home.
This has been our
I mean,
home for
you
years.
were claiming it's your home, but everybody knows the prince still has rule here. Listen, we are going to play ball, but don't be a dick.
He takes a minute as he kind of takes in your words, and they all take like a step forward. If the prince wants his home back, he's had ample opportunity to take it.
Are you threatening the prince right now? Is this really a thing? Because I could just shoot a text to the sheriff. You know, like,
Please
is this
do.
really a thing?
I would like to see the sheriff make his way out here, and the prince expend his valuable resources trying to clear out a long-forgotten, pathetic graveyard.
So you're literally asking for permission to
Did you
kill
just call your home pathetic?
Most vampires find it pathetic. We find it cozy here. Better than the sewers of those who live in the city. And they dart a look over to Caligari.
Ooh, I want to use my emotional appeal to them, and be like, "Me too. I kind of like it here."
Go for it.
Uh,
That'll be a like give me like a it's not like a manipulation thing, is it? Maybe kinda.
Maybe.
Let's go. Yeah, you're trying to manipulate them and kind of put them on your side. Let's go ahead and make it a manipulation plus persuasion, and then you have a, what is it? You said you have a bonus in emotional appeal. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and give it +1.
If it doesn't work, I have an approach.
And preach.
Approach.
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 Okay. 4 successes.
And what were the words that you said again? I apologize.
Because they were saying that they kind of like.
Oh, you're
most
saying you
people-
like it here, right? Compared to the
Yeah.
sewers, right.
Yeah.
And the one that's been standing relatively upright gestures to Emmy and says, "Seems the little one understands."
Yeah. So you gotta understand from our side of things too. We're just looking for a piece of glass. It's not a big deal. It's okay. So let's make a deal. We give you some information. You help us find the glass, and everyone goes away happy. And we'll leave you alone.
We just want to be left alone. We get the information, and we let you dig around these old graves all night long, if that's what you so desire.
Well, let's keep it to this. We'll give you information, but don't make it too personal. Because, Ferris over there doesn't appreciate it. And don't mind him. He's just a little rough. He's a sweetheart down deep.
Deep down, he's just a little teddy bear.
I roll my
Yeah.
eyes.
I would like to. I'm sorry, I'm still pretty laggy. I'm interested in seeing if like I might have known that they've already been here. That there are outskirt style groups.
Yep.
I want to throw out a couple other of those clans on the outskirts, like a few other places that I know as kind of like examples for them. Like they might know them, but if anything, I'm either giving them that information, like, hey, there's these places, there are these people. Like you're not the only outskirt group and you know this, or 2, that they do know that and therefore like I'm cool with I'm down with the Nosferatus.
All right, so you're basically trying to appeal to them and being like, look, we know that while technically you're in the prince's area, this is your domain. We want to respect that. Look, there's these other people that are around that I know about. I get it, kind of thing. Is that what you're looking to do?
Kinda. Because she's super offstandish continually. Sorry, now I'm dying.
Thursday's a curse. It's all good.
But she's just going to like just start naming off a couple other places.
Sure.
And actually the first one that she names is will be is there a split off group that didn't end thing? Like was there like a like a kindred gang fight that everyone like heard about, or like, you know, some split off thing that
Sure. You definitely,
yeah,
what you know,
there's
one of the things
nothing
you know as far as information is concerned, up to doing like a ton of research, is that kindred fight constantly. Very rarely does anything like lethal come of it. But there was at one point, like 10 years ago, a group of Ventru and a group of actually God, what is your clan, Scott? Maquette, there we go. Who got into a skiff over some territory in Chicago proper. This wasn't just a normal kind of fight where some territory shifts and like some of the borders get pushed or pulled in one way or another. This was a fight to kick one of the groups out completely and hopefully do away with them. And eventually the Ventru actually ended up winning that fight, but a splinter group of the Maquette ended up moving out to the suburbs of Chicago. And there's like you know there's a group of Maquette out there somewhere in the suburbs. You don't know where, but you know a general area. And we'll say you throw that out as like, hey, I know about this fight.
Yeah, I'm like,
Maybe maybe this is information, useful information to you. Maybe you can use this. So basically, I'm assuming kind of pitching it to them as currency. Like, hey, there was this fight that happened like 10 years ago in Chicago, and there's this group of Maquette that ended up losing a ton of territory, and they ended up getting pushed to the suburbs of Chicago. Could be something you could look into, maybe barter with them, maybe make a deal with them, maybe work
all
with
I'm
them.
gonna say is like the name of that particular group.
Yeah.
Like assuming that everyone knows that shit already happened, that I'm gonna skip like there's this whole battle. I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, those people, they're over there now. And that's like all I'm gonna fucking say. So I'm gonna be
Gotcha.
like, this is the place, this is the location. That's what you get. Like
And with
here is my information.
With your high politics mark, with your encyclopedic knowledge, with how much you study, and this is kind of your thing, it almost comes out too naturally. Like, you want information? Here you go. These people, this is where they are, and if you find that useful, let that be the information that we trade. It kind of catches one of them. You notice a little bit of surprise on his face when you kind of throw that information towards him, and he seems to be mulling it over. And then he looks to you and says, "How do you know about that?"
That's all I'm gonna say. She's like literally just a.
She kind of like eats books.
Most good.
She eats some grass now too, so she just like she picks up some grass from the ground and she starts eating that.
They don't seem to care about that. They take a minute and see if you were going to answer. You don't. You eat some grass, and the one steps forward and kind of looks down at you, Caligari, again, and he says, "That fight happened a decade ago, and I thought no Maquette were left alive. And you're telling me there's a group of them not 20 miles from here."
Do you want the information or not? Leave us alone.
Is there any way that we can verify this information first before we let you procure?
Oh, go to hell.
He gets cut off, and he seems
Like, I gave him some fucking gold.
Yeah, you absolutely did. You gave him some gold.
So he doesn't seem like he's gonna go with this, is he? So
No, he seems like this is
okay.
No, what he seems is this is
Okay.
His demeanor seems like this is actually very
Okay.
It's intriguing to them. They just want like a verification.
Yeah, they want to
type
verify that the information is
Give
true.
me your captcha code real quick, so I
Yeah.
can be sure that you're a real human.
They think about it because you just tell him, like, he asks, like, can we verify this information? Because this could be very useful for them, but you cut him off and tell him to go to hell. They think for a minute, and interesting. Takes a little bit.
I'm gonna start to like kind of just shuffle away. Like, like my work here is done. I've given you what I've given you. You know, like you don't think it's some fucking priceless gems. So whatever.
So,
everyone else is gonna handle the rest of
You
this.
scuffle,
like,
you
when
scuffle
she-
away. Yep, go ahead.
As I see her walk away, I'm like,
Well, a deal is a deal.
How about this? Do you trust her information? And he looks to the three that are standing there. Do you trust her?
Does it matter
I
if we
trust her with
her?
my arm.
I want your names. We're going to let you into our graveyard tonight to do what you do best.
Listen, buddy, it's as simple as this. You literally have zero political jurisdiction. We could do whatever we want, and any negative actions you take against us, there will be retaliations against you, not us.
And unless the prince
he's giving
sent you
information.
So he cuts you off and he says, unless the prince sent you directly, your employer, whoever that mysterious person may or may not be, may be sending you on your own little illegal adventure into our territory. And without knowing who sent you, we don't know if you're here through legal, and he puts quotes, means. I'm willing to take Caligari's information. I'm asking for your names so that when we verify this information and it's wrong...
Her information, I have a sword should you get in our way. If you do want it, just say hey. But
so you're willing to break...
I'm kind of done playing your games.
So you're willing to break the prince's laws then. If you're sitting here touting the laws of the prince at me, and now you threaten my life.
Bye.
Okay, so
I'm going to turn and follow Caligari.
Dude, I shouldn't
Jimmy
have
holds
walked
up
away.
his
What were you
hands.
doing?
yeah, no stabbing people.
Well, you can
Okay.
stab them. You just can't finish it.
Yeah, Jimmy's gonna hold up his hands, which are terrifying claws.
Yeah.
And it's just be like, just he's touchy tonight. Try not to take it
Yeah.
personal.
We won't let him.
But it's worth saying
the
for
one
the
on all
record.
the one on all fours just starts sniffing, and he looks to you and he's like, "And the three of you are young childer." He shakes his head. I just want a name. I don't need all four of your names. I just want one, so that we
I'm
can
just gonna
verify
make it
this.
clear. You have no idea how old I am, which is true because
That is true.
Jimmy,
You do
can't
not.
you can't sense Jimmy's
But they can sense the
blood
others.
potency.
Callie
Yeah.
already gave them Varys's name. She even said blah blah blah, like,
Did she?
oh, ignore Varys. He blah 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 blah
Oh,
at the
didn't remember that.
beginning of our conversations. So she already gave Varys's name before.
Anyways,
Okay. Emmy would catch that because she's like witty. And I
Sure.
think I'll just go with that then.
And say that she already said his
Um,
name.
Yeah, I'll be like,
Well, if you're paying any attention, you would have already known someone's name.
And I guess we weren't paying attention, child. What name?
Does everyone have to help you with everything? Also, I wouldn't offend people. That's why they go stabbing you. Anyways, I think she said Varys's name.
Varys.
and I'm Jimmy.
Good. 2 names then. You see, so one of them like take out his phone, like plugging in some things. If the
And I'm
information,
about to be really mad if you do not help us out.
He writes that down in the phone too.
Yeah.
About to be really mad.
You're welcome with after he takes the names down. You're welcome to look through the graveyard tonight. And if the information that Caligari has given us is truthful, you won't hear from us again. And if it's not,
Well,
we'll
we
find you.
won't.
Ooh.
And with that,
Peace out.
they start hobbling away into the long grass, off to do whatever it is they plan on doing.
Also mow your lawn. And Jimmy walks away.
And you hear one shout back, "Cut your hair!" No, I'm just kidding.
and,
You don't hear anything
as
back.
I'm walking back with Jimmy, I'm like,
Geez, you give someone an arm, you try to give them flowers, information. This is like the hardest date ever. Not that I've been on one before. Or that
Yeah,
I'll
well,
ever be on one.
welcome to Chicago, kid.
Walking to catch up to Caligari before. I'm gonna kind of go up to her and be like, so I'm gonna go up to her and be like, hey, you and Emmy went ahead of us. Did you guys find anything while you were out there?
I like obviously I did, but how would I say that I did? Because I don't
Yes.
really know what I found. So it's just yes, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, she goes, yeah.
Let's go check that out. Let's just not make things worse. Let's be quick.
She says we need glass.
So do you show Varys over to the grave?
I bring everyone back over to
Sure.
the grave thing. And
So
then
say-
I kind of like look at Jimmy again, just like, like, if you want to open, is it box?
We got the grave. It's box time, right?
Wrong grave.
The directions
That's not
were
the grave.
when you find Alexander Pope or Raphael Pope, that's when you open the box.
Right. But
Whether you follow those orders or not is up to you. But the 4 of you are at the grave. The box is nearby.
I feel like Raphael Pope
I'm-
might not be his real
I'm not
name.
at the grave. I am trying to find the key. Or not the key, the glass.
I feel like is the glass like put in the glass.
Remember, the put in the glass is in parentheses, by the way.
No. I know. I'm just wondering if it's like put in the glass. Like, so it says, hold on. Go to after midnight.
Yeah.
Went to the dead boy's tomb at 2:00. Okay. Yeah. Dead boy's tomb at 2:00. So maybe go to his tomb and then there's a face of it. So a couple steps to the side, right?
Or it could be 2
grave
o'clock
line-
in the morning is what he was talking about.
Of course.
Two
So it's
options.
either position or time. The grave of the liar is locked tight. That's fine. North of the boy and south of the lady. We've already searched the area. Ask her where the key is, but we're not literally asking her where the key is.
No.
So the other idea is like whichever direction she was gesturing in, we can go kind of like meandering off in that direction. The key doesn't have to be a physical key. The glass doesn't have to be a physical glass. They just have to be representative of something, right? And especially when it's remember the words after all those years, it makes you think like the key is a phrase as opposed to, but. So I guess
What's the Ars Magna?
Ars Magna was actually taken off of the note. I removed that.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't think you're talking about. So I guess if we're kind of like hitting a wall at the moment with where this in between of the grave or whatever, I guess I'll maybe elbow nudge Jimmy because the two of us are kind of like dumb when it comes to these things. We'll leave the good ones together, and I'll nudge Jimmy and like have him come with me. We'll head back to the lady and then walk in the direction where she's gesturing, and then just kind of like look around and see if we can find anything in the direction she's gesturing. You know, which if I remember correctly, was not to the south.
And
Okay.
I'm looking for the grave of the liar, which is north of the boy and south of the lady. So I'm looking for that.
And Caligari, remember the grass within the young boy's grave seems off. Whether it be newer or shorter, it just didn't seem right.
I'm gonna start kind of digging around there.
Sure.
Can I?
Yeah, absolutely.
It might be directly digging if that's useful, but she's gonna investigate this here grass.
Yeah, I'm sure. What I'm guessing is there's something buried.
Correct. All right, so you start digging. Varus and Jimmy start looking, and Emmy is looking for the grave of the liar. Varus and Jimmy, you said you're going off and looking in the way that the lady was pointing, correct? That is your plan. All right. You will head off in that direction. And then you have to be mean, Scott. Emmy, you're looking for the grave of the liar. Give me a wits plus composure check. And Callie, you start digging. Go ahead and give me. I didn't really need anything. You don't need to dig. I mean, you don't need to make a check to dig. You start digging with your claw hands, and you start ripping up the ground beneath you. One of the things you start realizing right away, Nika, is that the soil below the grass is relatively soft and possibly recently disturbed. So it makes it very easy for you to get your hands in there and start scooping out the dirt and whatnot.
So I double down. I start really.
You start really going. Yep. You start looking around, Emmy, and you still do not find anything that points you to the grave of the liar. It doesn't make sense. Emmy, make me a what would this be? A wits plus intelligence check.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like trying to piece something together.
One
success. You don't think the grave of the liar necessarily means a literal grave of the liar. Like thinking about it, you think the grave of the liar is referring to possibly Raphael Pope's grave, and it's very possible that the information given what you have, it might just be impossible to find his grave without first figuring out what goes in the lady's hand. But you do know that her hand being outstretched is likely looking to hold something, which is what I think Caligari is looking for right now as she's like digging.
Okay.
Jimmy and Varus, you wander off in that direction, and you eventually just hit the fence and don't see anything very valuable out in that direction. About 15-20 minutes pass, and Caligari, you have eventually just like moving dirt, very shallow grave, and you come across this wooden casket that is no more than like a foot or 2 feet below the surface, which is an incredibly shallow in general. Do you say anything? You just like as you move the dirt off and you see this grave, which is not far down, do you just rip the cover off, or do you call anybody over? Do you do anything?
Emmy's already walking back since I figured that whatever she's.
We'll say Emmy gets back there as she's brushing the last of the dirt
I
off.
rip it off.
So Emmy gets there right as she's pushing the rest of the dirt off, and you just open it. It does not even give a fight. The wood is so old and so rotted through that as you rip it off, just a piece of the wood actually just breaks off, and you have to kind of like throw it, and you just kind of rip it in. As you rip it out, you see underneath the decomposed corpse of a small boy. But in his hands on his chest lie a glass orb.
Picture of Emmy.
Yeah, and a picture of Emmy right there, in a heart. But he's clasping a glass orb up against his chest, as his bony, rotted hands barely cling onto it. You just go in and
when
grab
she
it.
snatches it out, I put some flowers in place of it.
Very Indiana Jones style.
Yeah, I take the other arm and I just pop that in there too. Just like not the vampire arm, but the other arm.
Yeah, the one there. All right.
Yeah.
So-
I'm like, and then I pat him on his head a little bit. Just like pat.
His
But I
old,
don't know my own
wiry
strength.
hair growing from his skull.
Yeah, like I don't know my own strength, so I might.
Yeah, you probably
look a little bit.
do a little bit of damage to the corpse. As you pull the glass orb out, some of the fingers kind of just snap off with it. But Emmy reaches in and puts the bouquet down. You put the arm down. The body doesn't come to life. That's not a zombie. And it just lies there in his old 1800s attire, kind of eaten away from worms and whatnot.
Actually, does he have like a cravat?
I don't even know what a cravat is.
It's like a Miles Edgeworth style scarf, like a little is he wearing like a scarf
Like a
thing?
fluffy scarf thing,
Sure,
yeah.
he's very
I'm fucking
fancy.
taking that scarf.
All right.
Scarf is mine too.
I knew that was coming if I said
She-
yes.
Great.
She wraps it around her neck. She's
Yep.
she's super down. Shit,
So
yeah.
you grave rob this unknown tomb of this little boy.
Little
And,
boy.
I'd like the both of you before you leave to make a. You guys aren't inspecting the corpse, right? You just kind of look at it, grab it, and leave, more or less.
Emmy's probably looking at it while she's like digging it up and stuff. And also, did it say like how the kid died or
Nope,
no?
no death description. Literally unknown name, the years he lived,
Okay.
in it being a boy.
Then
So-
Emmy's probably like while when she puts the flowers down, she's like,
I wonder how he died.
Can Caligari and Emmy please make me a wits plus composure check?
It comes to life.
It is a zombie. I lied.
Kappa.
Is that a 1 success?
That is a 1 success and a 0 success, which is fine. Caligari, very interested with this orb, very excited that she found it, and is probably looking at it, which we'll get to that in a minute. Emmy, as you're about to as you put the flowers in, and you are about to walk away, something catches your eye. Very quickly, it's under his left shoulder. A piece of a bead or something is sticking out, underneath of him, not in his body. Do you reach in and pull whatever it is?
Yeah.
All right. As you start pulling it out, it's very clearly a rosary of some sort. And as it dangles and it kind of latches loose or shifts loose from underneath his rotting shoulder, the cross that hangs from it is a cross that you have seen before. It is not a typical rosary. It is one that belongs to that very specific covenant. It's gone. Out of my head. I had it, and now it's gone.
Lancia?
Lancia Sanctum, the Lancia Sanctum, which seems to have been in everything you've done so far. But it makes sense because the information you learned about Raphael Pope, he was once Lancia Sanctum and kind of splintered off and did his own crazy kind of cultish thing.
Yeah, so
for a while.
what happens, Emmy goes, oh, and then she starts pulling on it, and then she takes the rosary and holds it up, and she's like,
Oh, this is the Lancia Sanctums.
and then she kind of shows it to Callie, and she's like,
That seems odd.
I don't know if Nika's frozen or she's just there she is. She's back. Okay, she was frozen. Nika, do you say anything?
Seriously, can't.
no,
So this is
About-
embarrassing. What's
There's a rosary.
Yeah.
Okay. She looks
with the
at it and
Lancia
goes,
Sanctum.
It's a Lancia
Yeah, she
Sanctum.
goes- "Cool," and that's it.
Okay.
she's
Emmy's
trudging
gonna
back over
open-
to Blady.
Emmy's gonna open up her little purse because she has this little purse that's in the shape of a teddy bear.
Sure.
Opens it up and puts it in
God,
there.
I forgot how creepy that was. You had a little teddy bear backpack or a little purse.
It's not a backpack. It's just a purse,
Yeah,
like a shoulder strap. It's more like a sash thing than a
no problem.
backpack.
So, Callie is on her way back to the statue. Varys and Jimmy are probably already back there at that point, having made their way back. Emmy is shortly in tow. Callie, you're inspecting this glass thing on the way back, and there is writing all over it, kind of like etched into the glass itself, and it is all in Greek. And you recognize the language. You might even be able to parse some of the words together here and there. But, you know, as far as you can tell, it's nonsense, gobbledygook. It doesn't make any damn sense. But it's definitely Greek, and there's a lot of writing all over the glass orb.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Jimmy?
Jimmy definitely
Yeah,
speaks a
Jimmy.
little bit of Greek.
Nice.
Oh, sweet.
His last name is
shit.
Panagakos.
I don't know that yet.
What was that?
This is my
Nika?
video.
It's true. That's a
All right. So you make your way over.
sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. What were you saying, Nika?
it's so sometimes everyone comes in at the same time, so I have to figure it out.
Yeah, no problem.
In compare like does this
Oh.
does it look as old as it is?
It looks rather pristine for the age of the grave that you found. I think she's delayed. She's getting everything all at once.
Okay. Yeah, it's all coming through eventually. Yeah. So yeah, she's fine with it. She
Okay.
starts walking it over.
Sure.
She's not even gonna tell anybody. She's just gonna put it in the hand.
Oh, all right.
So
Jimmy and Varys are hanging out by the statue. Emmy and Caligari is coming over. Caligari clearly has something. Emmy as well. Well, no, she's just carrying her little her purse now. Caligari walks over. Jimmy may wave. Varys might do something. If she ignores you, just goes over and puts this glass orb that fits extremely well into the hand of the weeping lady. And as you place the glass orb down, it takes a minute. You're listening. Nothing seems to be happening, and then
Maybe we need to ask her where the key is.
do you do anything?
Yeah, she said, like Emmy says, maybe we need to ask her where the key is. And then she's like,
Where's the key?
Do we think it's a real key, or do we think it's like a metaphorical key?
I think it's probably like you put the glass in and something shines on something else. But
Oh, really, Indiana? Did you watch it recently? Because
no.
you're like
She
totally
could have
referenced-
watched it a month and a half ago and it would be recent.
Well, she's kind of right in what she says. You start to notice that as you wait a minute and you're waiting and nothing seems to be happening until the clouds that are passing by the moonlight do pass by to the eventually where the moonlight does start shining through. It takes a few minutes, very cloudy night, but the way it hits and the way the ball is etched, there's no light that shines through it and hits a grave. What happens is the light hits it and some of the words within the glass orb are being lit in a way that others are not.
oh, it's getting
Cool.
lit.
Oh,
Cool.
that's cool.
So now we just need to know if Jimmy's
What does
yaya
that say
taught
on
him any Greek. So
So I mean,
Yeah.
Jimmy like leans all the way into it and he's like, "This is cool as shit."
Yeah, and every
I
time, like,
agree.
every like few seconds to few minutes, clouds will pass by the moon and it'll go dim and you don't see anything until. So you have to. It's gonna take some time
Hold on
for you
a
to
second.
parse it together.
taking pictures of it.
Okay,
black and
all
white,
right, gotcha.
color. Hold on, I want to focus. Okay, cool. Take a picture. Hold on, I'm gonna take a macro. There we go. Awesome. Beautiful. Get some good lighting. Work it for me. Sweet.
Nice. So Jimmy, you speak some Greek, right? You said you're out of everybody here. Jimmy speaks a little bit
You
of
know,
Greek.
it's like some whatever Greek. Who
And-
knows if he understands any of this thing, right?
And because of Caligari's encyclopedic knowledge, she too can pick out words and letters. And through the two of you, we're going to have to make some rolls and see if we can put together a coherent understanding of what these words are coming across. Varys, I'm assuming you don't speak any Greek. Emmy, you
Okay.
barely out
Google,
of kindergarten.
Translate Greek to English.
Damn modern technology!
I've been like, I was kind of like third or fourth grade, you know.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Still, you weren't learning Greek in 3rd and 4th grade.
No, you're not. I may know how to play a recorder.
That's great. And the next time I make a recorder puzzle, I'll make sure you know all about it.
All right.
Neat. So this is going to be intelligence plus academics, as well as you get +1 for solve enigmas, Caligari.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy's probably just assisting, right? So
Yeah, well, we can
Sorry,
say
what
yours.
was it?
No problem.
What am I rolling?
Intelligence plus academics +1 for solve enigmas. And
Cool.
Jimmy's going to be assisting, so we're going to say he gives you an additional +1.
In the meanwhile, can I search through the Play Store to see if there is a grab an image and translate by image to English kind of app out there?
I mean,
Is
that just straight up exists in the real world, so...
right? You know, so can I like see if there's an app that, because it's whether or not the image actually functions, right?
Sure. Yep,
There's
that's
magic.
fine. So
Oh,
you're
who
trying...
knows?
Severus is
You
trying...
don't need to. I got a 6.
Yeah, but she overwhelming successed it. So as Varys like, guys, I technology, man, technology. And Caligari's already scribbling like words down. Jimmy's like, you know, they're kind of get together and they're kind of picking out words. And it's like 5 or 6 different words strung together point you to one very specific morgue. Or not morgue, what the fuck? What was the name of that little upstairs tomb?
Mausoleum.
Mausoleum. It has an M. That's all I need. And it happens faster than you could have imagined. Like, it all just makes sense for Caligari as these words are coming together. She might ask, like, Varys, like, hey, or Jimmy, like, hey, what is that letter? I don't recognize it to you. But very quickly, Caligari is able to piece it together and be like, and she, like, whips around, points her little bony finger in one direction into one of the mortuaries. It's like, that one. And Caligari can easily lead the way in knowing
Ooh,
which
that was really cool.
mortuary you're looking for. You make your way there.
Emmy is gonna take the gem or like the glass
Okay.
and put it in her pocket before we head off.
Sure.
Quick question, Mathas, before, like, she does that, of course, but the light that came through, the shining, was that because of like the angle of the light that it happened? Or was like an inner, because before it was said after 2 o'clock, so I wasn't sure if it was like a moonlight sort of a thing.
It was the angle of the light.
So it was a timing thing as well. Check the time on my phone. What time is it?
It is like 2:07.
Okay, cool. So that is important. Awesome.
Yep. Because you guys got here at
I'm
about 11.
actually-
You spent about an hour looking, about a...
I'm sorry. I'm super curious. When you take that out, Emmy, and you take it away, and I look at my phone, I kind of look at Emmy and I go, "Hey, Emmy, can you put that back? I'm curious about when it stops."
Okay.
She puts it back.
Okay. You just gonna leave it there and come back and check later, I'm assuming?
Yeah, just kind of like keep an eye on it as we go.
Sure. So the 4 of you make your way over to the mortuary that Caligari and Jimmy were able to figure out. Caligari probably up front, very excited that, you know, this all happened and it all made sense. As you head over, the mortuary seems relatively overrun, much like the rest of the graves. Lots of long grass, vines, and whatnot. One of the windows are shattered, but all the windows have bars on them, so it's not like they could climb in. And the windows themselves are like your typical stained glass, have a lot of religious imagery on them. When you head on over, and Caligari, when you get there, do you just immediately go for the door? Do you wait for the rest? What do you plan on doing?
I mean, I think we're just waiting for them to open it.
Caligari, do you just go for the
Right.
door and pop it? She might be freezing. That might be the problem. Hi, Caligari.
Oh, did you ask me something?
Oh, yeah. No, it's fine. When you get over to the mortuary, do you just pop the door open? Is that the plan? Or do you
Yeah, I guess. Like, if I know that this is the place, I'm
Yep.
just going in.
You are 100% in your mind positive this is the place.
This is the place, and I presume that we're supposed to go in, so I'll just go
Yep,
in. Yeah.
no problem. You reach for the door, and it is locked. Surprise, surprise. It is a simple lock, however. This is not like a mega lock. It is pretty much just a simple lock. Jimmy, if he really wanted to, could probably claw it open and have no problem. Varys, if you wanted to spend the time, could probably pick the lock, no problem. What's your approach?
It's a mausoleum, so we don't want to disrespect the thing. And it's a standard lock, really?
Yeah, it's just
like
a very standard lock. Hide in plain sight.
Can we just cut the lock? Like legit, just
That's what I said. Like Jimmy could just claw the lock and
Yeah.
fall off.
just because we don't want to break the door, but the lock,
Right.
fuck it.
Yeah, it's just like a lock that
Grave
dangles. from
of the Liar is locked tight. Ask her where the key is. Put in the glass like you asked. Hope. So the key is a words. I hope Pope remembers the words after all those.
As far
years.
as you understand, and maybe it's just because of the way I worded it, the key was the words directing you here, more or less. It being locked tight, meaning it being locked away from people's knowledge, more or less. Should have been maybe a little bit more specific. But the lock itself is just a very simple crack it open.
Okay, Jimmy's just gonna slip a claw in there and pop it open.
Yep, and you do so with very little trouble.
Oh, that's nifty.
The lock just clangs to the ground, lands like a thud in the grass, and the door can be pushed. And you do so. You head inside, the four of you. Now, most mortuaries, as far as I understand, have like slots for corpses, more or less. There's like maybe like 2 on one side, 2 on the other. This one, the walls are barren. There are areas where corpses can go, but there are no corpses there. But instead, sunken into the floor itself is a tomb that is sealed with a stone cover, more or less. And on it is a symbol that to maybe mortalize you wouldn't recognize, but to Jimmy's eyes is the Ordo Dracul. And those who may, and Caligari absolutely knows what that looks like as well. Varys and Emmy maybe. But Callie, just again, she's a studier, and Jimmy, because of his past, has the Order Dracul, letting you know that this is probably his. You now have where his grave is in front of you. What's the plan at this point?
Open the box.
Well, let's. So if Callie says like, open the box, like, whoa, let's look around and make sure that this is going to be a little safe first. And just kind of like start checking corners.
I just want to see what's
Shoot,
inside
yeah.
the box.
Everyone's pretty disappointed with this decision, but everyone just goes, oh.
Everyone just wants to open the box.
Okay, let's get the guy. Where's the guy? Let's get him out.
All right, you get the guy. I'll check the corners, right?
I want to get the guy.
Okay, so you're gonna try and like push off the stone, the stone thing.
I'll do it. I do it.
You can help.
But yeah, I'm super strong.
I think between the two of us, we can probably do it.
Yeah, you both can feel free to make strength plus brawl rolls, or just raw strength rolls. Rather, give me raw strength. Just a raw strength
Use
roll.
athletics.
Yeah, that probably makes a lot more sense. Strength plus athletics rolls. Look, it's been like 6 weeks. My rules knowledge is slipped. So 2 successes for Caligari, 4 successes for Jimmy. That is 4, 5, 6. It budges. It starts to like grind against the stone, but this thing is freaking heavy as hell, even for vampires. So mortals would have basically no shot at pushing this over. Vampires, you're pushing it, but it still is not all the way open. So I need more strength plus athletics rolls from the both of you. While Emmy and Varys kind of look around. Emmy and Varys, nobody seems to be around. Even with your heightened senses, Emmy, looking around, keeping an eye out. The only thing you see are corpses of your own making.
Hold on. It's not a matter of looking around.
Bonus? Do I get a modifier?
Nope, no modifier. What's your modifier from, Jimmy?
From having vigor on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No problem. And what were you saying, Scott?
It's not a matter of...
Do I have vigor? I have vigor.
You can use a point of vigor if you'd like to give yourself a plus 1.
No. Wait, Vitae?
Yeah, if you spend
Vitae.
I ain't gonna spend no fucking Vitae. This guy's dead. He's not going anywhere. We'll just take our time.
And Scott, go ahead.
So it's not a matter of looking around outside. I don't give a shit about it. It's more of like in here, looking around and seeing if there's anything to be worried about. You know what I mean?
Yep, no problem. I get what you're saying.
I don't think my character would necessarily think of traps because he's no like rogue, but like just looking around and see if there's anything of note inside here first.
Yeah, and I guess, yeah.
If you both want, you're welcome to make wits plus investigation.
Okay.
Okay.
I am good at that.
And then, do I get a bonus for having heightened senses?
I do not.
No, not for this.
Okay.
Why does it say the banned sorcery? That's weird.
Theban sorcery is a type of magic. I don't know why. You must have that marked off somewhere.
Oh, I do. I have a click somewhere. That's funny.
So with 3 successes and 1 success, nothing trap-wise. Like you said, you're not a rogue. You're not looking for it. But even being rather detail-oriented, you're looking around. doesn't really seem to be. However, the windows, like I said, religious symbolism, as in most mortuaries, but the more you look at them, the more you inspect it, the more you realize these are twisted religious symbolisms. They're not your typical, like, Jesus hanging on a cross. It's Jesus hanging on a cross, and wait, okay, is that... No, yeah, that's not a human stabbing something into his side. That's like a... It looks like first glance, maybe a human, but really close, it looks like it could be a creature of some sort. Not necessarily human itself. And that one over there, that's not Jesus carrying a cross. That's somebody else completely. It doesn't look like Jesus whatsoever. At least what Americanized, quote unquote, Jesus normally looks like. That doesn't look like him whatsoever. And then the third window is broken, so you don't know what was on it. And from the bits and pieces you can tell, you're not entirely sure. And there are no glass bits around. It looks like that has been cleaned up. So whatever was on that third window is missing.
So knowing full well that her hands are full, I'm like, hey, Callie, what the fuck is this? And I'm gesturing at like these religious symbols that are like, this ain't the Jesus I grew up with kind of stuff.
It's not Jesus at all.
Hashtag not my Jesus. Yeah. What you want me to roll for this?
I would like you to roll intelligence plus academics plus 1 for encyclopedic knowledge.
Okay, academics, intelligence, not occult. It doesn't matter actually. It's the same amount of stuff.
It would give me, for what I know is at least in one of the pictures, I want encyclopedic knowledge.
Cool. Got it. All right, 2. So
looking at the one that was like the not necessarily human is stabbing, you're not quite sure what that creature is. And even with an occult roll being the same, you're not quite, you've never seen that before. However, you're pretty sure you've seen depictions of Judas looking very similar to the person who's carrying the cross. So you're pretty sure it's not Jesus carrying the cross, it's Judas.
I say, looks like Judas, and I just keep going.
At least a depiction of one that you've come across in an encyclopedia or through your studies at some point.
Huh. Judas? Why would somebody do that? And I take a picture of it.
Yep.
And I go over to the other one and take a picture of it.
Yep.
And then the one that has the missing glass, I'll take a picture of that too. When I say a picture, it's like one of those like 3 or 4 images, not just one.
Sure.
I'll take a picture of the one that's missing the glass too. But like, again, while they're doing that, I'll actively look for glass.
Sure.
And of course I come up short.
Yep, you come up short, but you have the pictures, which is valuable. Then they go back and they make their second check, which you guys have already made, giving you 4 more successes in total, which is 10, which was what I was looking for. And the last final, as the stone grinds against the stone ground, dust kicking up, chunks of the tomb at the top like flying off, and beneath lies in a rather dapper outfit of attire, a nice 3-piece suit, is a rather dilapidated vampire with a stake through his heart, laying in the grave that you can only assume in Caligari, he's decomposed, but you've seen maybe a picture or at least an artist rendition of this man before. You're pretty sure that beneath you, completely dried and decayed, is Raphael Pope, the man you have been looking for.
She was initially sitting on the box, like dangling her feet.
Okay, I was gonna go with the Judas thing again, so I'm gonna joke about that.
Sure.
I'm gonna poke and go.
She poked it, and then we don't know what happened.
Her joke was so funny.
The suspense.
We cannot hear it.
I want to know what the joke said.
Our mortal ears cannot.
She points. Fuck everything. Fuck everything.
That's the joke.
That's the joke. Okay.
It's a great joke. It's a great joke.
That's the joke.
I think Hallie's just
No. She points at the thing and goes, Judas, and like that's a little Callie joke. That it wasn't worth it. It was not worth that time.
It to me, and that's all I care. Does anybody laugh? Does any of the characters laugh?
So she points at it. It says Judas.
She points at what you assume is Pope and says Judas.
No,
I mean,
it's
it's
an
not
insult to my religion. Not
Yeah,
fun.
Emmy was like sitting on the box, dangling her feet, but as soon as she saw that Jimmy and Callie were almost done, like opening up the box or the corpse, she runs up and she's like looking into it. Because I'm assuming it's
Yep.
higher up, so she probably has a hard time looking.
No, it was actually in the ground. Like the only thing that was
Oh.
sticking up was the cover. So the cover was pushed off, so you can look down into it, and there's a wooden stake in his heart, or where you assume his heart is. You don't know. It's in that area. And you do know, like I said, Raphael Pope put himself, as far as you know from the pictures and the clues that you were given, this is self-imposed torpor. And this happened, he did this to himself hundreds of years ago, and now people are looking for him, and you found him. And a vampire in
Why-
a self-imposed torpor, at this state specifically, even if you remove the stake, dude is not waking up. He's not getting
Ooh,
up.
Yeah, he
I
did
bet you there's a
blood.
ton of blood in that box.
Juicy blood box. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm opening the box, Clank. I'm opening the box.
So
Just like
Whoa.
one fluid motion.
Before he goes over the box, like Jimmy. Does he actually
Clank.
stop or nope? Already open.
No, I'm just clawing
Okay.
the lock right
and,
off the
and
box.
Emmy's like touching the stake, and she's like,
Why would you do this to yourself?
I wanted to search the body. So,
Does
all right,
anybody
the
remove
box
this?
opens up.
Yep. The box opens up, and
She's
we
playing
go.
with it. I'm saying Jimmy.
The box. So Jimmy, like, it turns around and he just claws instantaneously. And he's like, "I'm opening this fucking box," and he just claws it open. And the box, like the lid, kind of like jostles just a bit, like it loosens because it was being held so tight. And
Right.
Jimmy just flips the cover open, and we're going to break. We'll be back in a couple minutes, guys. Don't
gotta
go
pee.
anywhere.